Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lecture 2 of CIN708. And in Lecture 2, we'll be looking at decisions and processes that add value to businesses. So value-driven business. Decision-making and problem-solving encompass large-scale, opportunity-oriented, strategically focused solutions. Organizations today can no longer use a cookbook approach to decision-making. This lecture focuses on technology to help make decisions, solve problems, and find new innovative opportunities. Through the use of decision support systems, executive information systems, artificial intelligence or AI, business processes, business process mapping and modeling, business process re-engineering. The lecture is divided into two sections. Section 2.1 is on decision support systems. And in 2.1, we'll be looking at making organizational business decisions, measuring organizational business decisions, measuring it, using MIS to make business decisions, using artificial intelligence to make business decisions. Section 2.2 looks at business processes, managing business processes, using MIS to improve business processes. Section 2.1, DSS, Decision Support Systems. The learning outcomes for Section 2.1 are: 1. Explain the importance of making decisions for managers at each of the 3 primary organization levels along with associated decision characteristics. Learning outcome 2, define critical success factors, CSFS, and key performance indicators, KPIs, and explain how managers use them to measure the success of management information system projects. Learning outcome 3, classify the different operational, managerial, and strategic support systems and explain how managers can use them to make decisions and gain competitive advantage. 4, describe artificial intelligence and identify its 5 main types. Making organizational business decisions. Managerial decision-making challenges, analyze large amounts of information, make decisions quickly, apply sophisticated analysis techniques. What is the value of information? Why 2 people looking at the same pieces of information could extract completely different value from the information? Now, the answer to that is, one way that people can extract different value from similar information is by the information technology tools they use to analyze the information. Also, people's personal experience and expertise will determine how they view and analyze information. Reasons for growth of decision-making information systems. People need to analyze large amounts of information. Improvement in technology itself, innovations in communication, and globalization have resulted in a dramatic increase in the alternatives and dimensions people need to consider when making a decision or appraising an opportunity. People must make decisions quickly. Time is of an essence, and people simply do not have time to sift through all the information manually. People must apply sophisticated analysis techniques such as modeling and forecasting to make good decisions. Information systems substantially reduce the time required to perform these sophisticated analysis techniques. Making the decision-making process. The 6-step decision-making process. 1, problem identification. So when you are looking at problem identification, some of the possible questions that you might want to answer is, what are the key problems affecting the business? What are the customers saying about the service and the product? What is the root cause of any decline in revenue or production time? 2, data collection. Some questions that you might want to answer is, why are certain processes falling short? And what are the immediate steps the company can take to adjust the current processes to improve them? Who are you listening to? Are they actual or rumor complaints? What departments are struggling? 3, solution generation. And again, some questions that you might want to answer here as well are, what are some of the solutions you have for improvement? What are some of the solutions your management team has? How will you go about collecting all the best solutions? Solution test, number 4. Questions that you want to answer is, are these solutions long-term or short-term solutions? What are some of the cost factors associated with the solutions? Does your team like the solution, or are they going to sabotage it because they are unhappy with the decision made? 5, solution selection. As the executive leader of the company, are you comfortable with the decision you made? How are you going to take a strong lead on this decision without alienating yourself? And 6, solution implementation. And the questions that you might want to ask are, evaluate and track how the solution is working. Is it achieving the results that you wanted? Is the results poor? What steps do you need to take to adjust? As a leader for the company, how will you appropriately change the solution direction without upsetting the environment or the flow of the employees and the production? Decision-making essentials. Decision-making and problem-solving occur at each level of the organizations. Generally, in an organization, there are 3 levels. So right at the very bottom, we have operational, followed by managerial and strategic. And we'll be looking at all these 3 types and the levels in an organization in the later few slides. Now, understanding the way people make decisions is critical to embrace. The way people make decisions is going to affect your business and the culture that is created there. Therefore, it is essential to learn all the 3 levels of an organization. Operational decision making. Derived from the operational level, employees develop, control, and maintain core business activities required to run day-to-day operations. Structured decisions. Situations where established procedures offer potential solutions. So with operational decision making, the type of the employee that are normally involved at this level are lower management, analysts, staffs. The focus is on internal and functional processes of an organization. The time frame is short-term, day-to-day operations. The types of decision made are structured, reoccurring, and repetitive. MIS type is information. Metrics is key performance indicators focus on efficiency. The next level is managerial level. With managerial level, managerial decision making must take place. Employees evaluate company operations to identify, adapt to, and leverage change. Type of decision made is semi-structured, occurs in situation in which a few established processes help to evaluate potential solutions, but not enough to lead to a definite recommended decision. The type of employees found at this level are middle management, managers, and directors. Focus is on internal and cross-functional departments. Time frame is short-term, but on daily, monthly, or yearly basis. Types of decisions is semi-structured, ad hoc, in other words, when required, and reporting. Management information system type is business intelligence. Metric, KPIs focusing on efficiency, and critical success factors focusing on effectiveness. The next level is strategic level. And with strategic level, strategic decision making takes place. Managers develop overall strategies, goals, and objectives. The types of decisions that are made are unstructured, occurs in situations in which no procedures or rules exist to guide decision makers toward the correct choice. The type of employees, there are senior management or presidents or CEOs of an organization. Focus is external, industry, and cross-company. Time frame, mainly strategic, in other words, long-term, yearly or multi-yearly. Decision types, unstructured, non-recurring, one-time. MIS type is knowledge. Metrics is basically on critical success factors focusing on effectiveness. So what are some types or examples of the types of system or activities at this level? So the types of activities that generally takes place in strategic level are sales trend forecasting, budget forecasting, profit planning, 5-year or 3-year forecast planning. Measuring organizational business decisions. A project is a temporary activity a company undertakes to create a unique product, service, or result. Metrics. Measurements that evaluate results to determine whether a project is meeting its goals. Why they would want to define metrics to evaluate a project's success? What types of metrics would you apply to the following situations? How would the metrics help them determine if the decision was successful? So these are some of the types of questions generally asked when working with projects. A project can be as simple as buying a new car, buying a home, or building a very complex bridge in a city or town area. In order to have a successful completion of the project, metrics must be put in place so that the requirements and the needs and the wants are met. Now, critical success factors may include create high quality products, retain competitive advantages, reduce product costs, increase customer satisfaction, hire and retain the best business professionals. Key performance indicators include turnover rates of employees, percentage of help desk calls answered in the first minute, number of product returns, number of new customers, average customer spending. KPIs, also known as key performance indicators. The quantifiable metrics a company uses to evaluate progress towards critical success factors. Examples may include turnover rates of employees, number of product returns, number of new customers, average customer spending. Key performance indicators measure the progress of critical success factors with quantifiable measurements that focuses on external and internal measurements. When you talk about internal measurements, generally we're talking about things that undertake within the organization. When you talk about external measurements, are things that takes place outside the organization. For example, competition. Critical success factors are elements crucial for a business strategy for success, and generally there is one critical success factor, or one critical success factor have many KPIs. External KPI, market share, the portion of the market that a firm captures, external to the organization. Internal KPI, return on investment, ROI, indicates the earning power of a project. Efficiency and effectiveness metrics. Efficiency MIS metric measures the performance of the MIS system itself, including throughput, speed, and availability. Effectiveness MIS metric measures the impact MIS has on business processes and activities, including customer satisfaction, conversion rates, and sell-through increases. Efficiency MIS metrics metrics rather, focuses on the extent to which a firm is using its resources in an optimal way, doing things right, getting the most from each resource. Effectiveness MIS metrics focuses on how well a firm is achieving its goals and objectives, doing the right things, setting the right goals and objectives, and ensuring they are accomplished. The major difference between efficiency and effectiveness. When talking about efficiency, we talk about throughput. That is the amount of the information that can travel through a system transactions or find information. Transaction speed, the amount of time a system takes to perform a transaction surveys. How many retained, and increase in revenue per customer. System availability, the number of hours a system is available first time user to become a customer and purchase the product. Information accuracy, how often a system generates the correct results when doing the same transaction many times. Response time, how long it takes to respond to user interactions. So when we compare between efficiency and effectiveness, is just a way of measuring the performance of the MIS and the impact it creates on business processes. Using MIS to make business decisions. Model, a simplified representation or abstract of reality. Models help managers to calculate risks, understand uncertainty, change variables, manipulate time to make decisions. Another common word that could be used instead of model is a prototype. Now, models calculate risks, understand uncertainty, change variables, and manipulate time. How many of you have ever worked with a DSS, EIS, or a AI system? What types of model are they using today, or are you using today at your job and in your personal lives? Many of us might have worked with the DSS and might not know it. For example, Microsoft Excel is a DSS. You may have used and found some of the common tools in Microsoft Excel that can be used like a information system. For example, in Microsoft Excel, you have a scenario manager, a goal seeker, solver, and pivot tables to support DSS activities. Transaction processing system, TPS, basic business system that serves the operational level and assists in making structured decisions. Online transaction processing, OLTP, capturing of transaction and event information using technology to process, store, and update. Source document, the original transaction record. Transaction information basically encompasses all the information contained within a single business process or unit of work, and its primary purpose is to support the performing of daily operational and structured decisions. Transaction processing system, TPS, basic business system that serves the operational level and assists in making structured decisions. Source document, using systems thinking, the input for a TPS or the original transaction record. Analysts typically use transaction processing systems to perform their daily tasks. What type of TPS might be used at Fiji National University? Fiji National University may accommodate transaction processing systems in terms of a payroll system, an accounts payable system, accounts receivable system, course registration system or the PANA system, and human resources systems for tracking vacations, sick leaves, and employee records. Managerial support systems, online analytical processing, OLAP, manipulation of information to create business intelligence in support of strategic decision making. Decision support system, DSS, models information to support managers and business professionals during the decision making process. Analytical information encompasses all organizational information, and its primary purpose is to support the performing of managerial analysis or semi-structured decisions. Organizational information levels. The structure of a typical organization is similar to a pyramid that is represented in the lecture slide. Organizational activities occur at different levels of the pyramid. People in the organization have unique information needs and thus require various sets of IT tools. At the lower levels of the pyramid, people perform daily tasks such as processing transactions, that is at the operational level. Moving up through the organizational pyramid, people, typically managers, deal less with the details, finite information, and more with meaningful aggregation of information, the cause information. And it helps them to make broader decisions for the organization. Granularity refers to the extent of which the detail is in the information, means fine and detailed or coarse and abstract information. Strategic support systems. It can be represented in models through the use of pie chart, bar chart, histogram, sparkline, and time series charts. Some of these may be very common while you have used Microsoft Excel or even Microsoft Word. A pie chart is a type of graph in which a circle is divided into sectors that each represent a proportion of the whole. A bar chart is a chart or graph that represents group data with rectangular bars with lengths proportional to the values that they represent. A histogram is a graphical display of data using bars of different heights. It is similar to a bar chart, but a histogram groups numbers into ranges. A sparkline is a small embedded line graph that illustrates a single trend. Sparklines are often used in reports, presentations, dashboards, and scoreboards. They do not include axes or labels. Context comes from the related content. A time series chart is a graphical representation showing change of a variable over time. Time series charts are used for data that changes continuously, such as stock price. They allow for a clear visual representation of a change in one variable over a set amount of time. Executive Information System, EIS, a specialized DSS that supports senior level executives within the organization. Granularity, visualization, and digital dashboards are discussed as thus. Granularity refers to the level of detail in the model or the decision-making process. Visualization produces graphical displays of patterns and complex relationships in large amounts of data, generally through the use of the charts that were represented in the previous slide. Digital dashboard tracks KPIs and critical success factors by compiling information from multiple sources and tailoring it to meet user needs. As digital dashboards become easier to use, more executives can perform their own analysis without inundating IT personnel with queries and requesting for reports. Executive Information System, again, is a specialized DSS that supports senior level executives within the organization. Most executive information systems offers the following capabilities. Consolidation involves the aggregation of information and features simple roll-ups to complex grouping of interrelated information. Drill down enables users to get details and details of information. Slice and dice looks at information from different perspectives. Pivot rotates data to display alternative presentations of data. Artificial intelligence simulates human intelligence, such as the ability to reason and learn. Machine learning, a type of artificial intelligence that enables computers to both understand concepts in environment and also to learn. There are generally two types of machine learning: weak AI and strong AI. Artificial intelligence systems increase the speed and consistency of decision making, solve problems with incomplete information, and resolve complicated issues that cannot be solved by conventional computing. There are many categories of artificial intelligence. Five of the most familiar ones are expert systems, neural networks, genetic algorithms, intelligent agents, and virtual reality. A weak artificial intelligence are machines that can make their own decisions based on reasoning and vast sets of data. Most of the AI systems in market today are weak AI. Strong AI refers to the field of artificial intelligence that works toward providing brain-like powers to AI machines. In effect, it works to make machines as intelligent as the humans, something similar to what we have in robots. The five most common categories of artificial intelligence: expert system, computerized advisory programs that imitate the reasoning processes of experts in solving difficult problems. Machine vision, the ability of a computer to see by digitizing an image, processing the data it contains, and taking some kind of action. Expert systems are human expertise that is transferred to the expert system, and users can access the expert system for specific advice. Most expert systems contain information from many human experts and can therefore perform a better analysis than any single human. Neural networks attempts to emulate the way the human brain works. The word emulate may mean imitate. Deep learning, a process that employs specialized algorithms to model and study complex data sets. The method is also used to establish relationships around data and data sets. Neural networks are most useful for decisions that involve patterns or image recognition, typically used in the finance industry to discover credit card fraud by analyzing individual spending behavior. Deep learning is a process that employs specialized algorithms to model and study complex data sets. The method is also used to establish relationships among data and data sets. To understand deep learning, imagine a toddler whose first word is dog. The toddler learns what a dog is by pointing to objects and saying the word dog. The parent might say, yes, that is a dog, or no, that is not a dog. As the toddler continues to point to objects, he becomes more aware of the features that all dogs possesses. Deep learning follows a similar adaptation process. Genetic algorithm, an artificial intelligence system that mimics the evolutionary survival of the fittest process to generate increasingly better solutions to problems. A good example is a shopping bot, software that will search several retailer websites and provide a comparison of each retailer's offerings, including price and availability. As genetic algorithms is essentially an optimizing system. It finds the combination of inputs that give the best outputs. Intelligent agent, special purpose knowledge-based information system that accomplishes specific tasks on behalf of its users. Virtual reality, a computer simulated environment that can be a simulation of the real world or an imaginary world. An intelligent agent can learn the types of competitor information users want to track, continuously scan the web for it, and alert users when a significant event occurs. Virtual reality examples may include games, cargo transport systems, complex adaptive systems. Virtual reality is the computer version of the real world. Section 2.2, business processes. Section 2.2 has one learning outcome, and that is to explain the value of business processes for a company and differentiate between customer-facing and business-facing processes. Managing business processes. Businesses gain a competitive edge when they minimize costs and streamline business processes. When you talk about business processes, a very common word that comes with it is re-engineering a process. Re-engineering a process would mean breaking down the entire process into pieces, reorganizing them, and making them better to minimize costs and streamlining business processes. There is nothing more frustrating than a broken process. In our classroom exercise and discussion for week 3 and week 4, we will be dividing you into groups, whereby you will be asked to re-engineer a process. The students should diagram as is process and to be process while they're working in the re-engineering processes. Business process modeling. Business process modeling or mapping, the activity of creating a detailed flowchart or process map of a work process showing its inputs, tasks, and activities in a structured sequence. Business process model, a graphic description of a process showing the sequence of process tasks which is developed for a specific. There are 2 basic types of business process modeling: as-is process model and to-be process models. Now, what is the difference between as-is and to-be process? As-is process model represents the current state of the operation that has been mapped without any specific improvements or changes to the existing processes. To-be process model shows the results of applying change improvement opportunities to the as-is or the current process model. Why is it important to diagram the as-is process prior to diagramming the to-be process? It's important to understand the entire process from end to end before determining how to fix the process. A very good example of a business process re-engineering and modeling through the use of as-is and to-be is illustrated in the lecture slide. As-is burger order process. So first the customer approaches the cashier, orders a burger. So the cashier asks, would you like to have some fries? If the customer says yes, then fries is taken into the order. If no, then the cashier asks, would you like to have a drink? If yes, then the drink is ordered. If no, the customer pays the cashier. Now, to improve the entire process, to make it simple and more streamlined, the entire thing is offered in a combo meal. So the customer approaches the cashier and orders a combo meal. The customer pays the cashier. Using MIS to improve business processes. Students must understand that business processes must drive MIS choices. If you look at the figure given in the slide, it shows that the arrows that our business processes are driving the MIS choices. That means the organization is controlling the MIS. However, in some organizations, it's the other way around. Over here, you'll see that the MIS choices tend to drive business processes due to the system constraints from off-the-shelf software. In other words, the MIS is controlling the organization. As much as possible, always try to avoid this. Have the business processes controlling the MIS system. Using MIS to improve business processes. Types of change an organization can achieve along with the magnitudes of change and potential business benefit. A true business process re-engineering effort does more for a company than simply improve it by performing a process better, faster, and cheaper. Progressive Insurance's BPR, or business process re-engineering effort, redefined best practices for its entire industry. The figure displays the different types of change an organization can achieve, along with the magnitude of change and potential business benefit. What can be some examples of each of change on the change spectrum? Automate. For example, answering phones with computers, auto-grading an essay or Excel project. Streamline. Remove duplicate jobs in the process. Use a different tool to perform the same task. Re-engineering. Taking an airplane instead of a bike, horse, or car. Taking business process re-engineering to the level where you redefine industry, such as Progressive Insurance. Operational business processes automation. Operational business processes, static, routine, daily business processes such as stocking inventory, checking out customers, or daily opening and closing processes. Operationalize analytics, makes analytics part of a business process. What does operationalize analytics do for a company? By incorporating analytics right into the business process, you can ensure that the company is gathering constant data on the business process, allowing it to automatically monitor and measure how the business process is performing. It helps with efficiency and effectiveness. Remember, if you can't measure, you can't manage it. Customers are demanding better products and services. Therefore, business processes must be improved. Business process improvement attempts to understand and measure the current process and make performance improvements accordingly. Automation is a process of computerizing manual tasks. Can you name any other types of recent business process improvement examples? Some may include eliminating redundancies, improve efficiency, improve effectiveness, streamline processes, make your business better, faster, cheaper. A great example of automation is the online check-in for an airline reservation. Managing business processes streamline. Streamlining means improving business process efficiencies by simplifying or eliminating unnecessary steps. Bottleneck occur when resources reach full capacity and cannot handle any additional demands. Redundancy occurs when a task or activity is unnecessarily repeated. Some examples of business process streamlining. For streamlining, an example would be automatically sending an email to a customer informing that the product has been shipped. An example of bottleneck, so many new orders for a discounted product that the warehouse doesn't have enough staff to gather, box, and ship the orders within the 24-hour promised time frame. Redundancy. Example, having the picker, warehouse manager, and shipping department employee check the order invoice against what is actually in the box. Three different set of employees performing the same task. That is an example of redundancy. Strategic business process re-engineering. Business process re-engineering, or BPR, analysis and redesign of workflow within and between enterprises. What is the difference between continuous improvement and business process re-engineering? Business process re-engineering relies on a different school of thought than continuous process improvement. In the extreme, business process re-engineering assumes the current process is irrelevant, does not work, or is broken down and must be overhauled from scratch, whereas continuous process improvement looks at certain aspects of the process. In other words, when you're looking at business process re-engineering, we're looking at changing the entire process. For example, what may be displayed in the slide: set project scope, study competition, create new processes, and implement solution. With business process re-engineering, the entire four phases would be removed and may be changed. With continuous improvement, with continuous process improvement, you might be looking at one of the four processes and try to work on it and improve on it. Thank you. So this finishes our lecture 2 for CIN708. Now, just to make a quick summary of the entire things we have discussed, the things that we looked at is the importance of decision making for managers at the three primary organizational levels. We defined critical success factors and key performance indicators and how managers use them to measure the success of an MIS project. We classified operational, managerial, and strategic support systems, the types of decisions they make, and the classification of employees within three levels. Moreover, we looked at artificial intelligence and identified the 5 different types of artificial intelligence that exists. And finally, we look at the value of business processes for a company, and also we looked at how the processes could be improved through the use of continuous process improvement and business process re-engineering. That's all for the lecture. Thank you.